Bruce Lee kicked Bob Wall so hard during Enter the Dragon that someone else ended up in a hospital. This revelation comes straight from Wall himself, the martial artist who faced the dragon in 3 separate films. What happened on that Hong Kong set goes beyond typical movie violence. Wall recalls a moment when Bruce's legendary power crossed a dangerous line, turning a choreographed fight into something terrifyingly real. The broken bones, the blood, and the chaos that followed would become one of cinema's most shocking behind-the-scenes secrets. Here's what really went down when Bruce Lee went too far. Long before the cameras rolled on Enter the Dragon, Bob Wall encountered fellow actor and martial artist Bruce Lee in the most unexpected way. The year was 1963, and Wall had just publicly humiliated a kung fu instructor at a Chinatown demonstration. After slapping the man hard enough to send him fleeing, Wall stood alone on stage, drink still in hand, wondering if he'd started a fight he couldn't finish. Then a tough-looking guy approached through the crowd. Wall prepared to throw a punch. Instead, the stranger extended his hand and said 4 words that would change everything. "Hey, that was funny. I'm Bruce Lee." They talked for hours outside that restaurant. 2 cocky young martial artists who'd finally found someone who matched their intensity. Bruce saw in Wall something rare, a fighter who lived for authenticity, who believed in making contact and keeping things real. Wall saw the same fire burning in Bruce. They became part of an elite circle that included Chuck Norris, Joe Louis, and Mike Stone. These were world champions sharing knowledge, pushing each other to impossible limits. Their friendship thrived on mutual respect and brutal honesty. When Bruce built a 300-pound heavy bag as a joke for Joe Louis, Wall was there laughing. When they trained together, neither man held back. Bruce valued Wall's toughness, his willingness to take real hits for the camera. That's why when Bruce started making movies, he wanted Wall in them. And for 10 years, they remained close friends. Bruce would visit Wall's karate studio. They'd spar for hours. Wall even introduced Bruce to Gene LaBelle, the legendary judoka who became one of the few instructors Bruce would learn from. Their bond ran deep, built on shared philosophy, shared pain, and shared excellence. But friendship has its limits, and on the set of Enter the Dragon, those limits were about to be tested in the most violent way possible. When Warner Brothers greenlit Enter the Dragon in 1972, Bruce Lee had one thing he wouldn't budge on. Everything had to be real. He'd choreograph every fight himself, and he'd make actual contact with his opponents. No pulled punches, no fake glass, no safety cushions. Just raw, authentic martial arts. This put Bob Wall in a unique spot. Bruce specifically requested him for the role of O'Hara, the scarred villain who kills Lee's sister. Chuck Norris had turned down the part, wanting to focus on hero roles. Wall accepted immediately. He knew what he was signing up for. Bruce would hit him, really hit him, and Wall would have to sell it. The production itself was chaotic. Hong Kong film studios operated nothing like Hollywood. The budget sat at a mere $850,000. Director Robert Klaus constantly clashed with Bruce over creative control. Language barriers led to a lot of confusion between American and Chinese crew members. Extras from rival triad gangs would fight each other between takes. Bruce regularly had to defend himself against challengers who thought they could take down the dragon. Through it all, Bruce stood by his vision. The fights would look real because they would be real. He brought in legitimate martial artists for every significant role: Jim Kelly, John Saxon, Sammo Hung, and eventually even a young Jackie Chan. Each one knew they'd be taking genuine hits. Wall understood the assignment perfectly. During their big confrontation scene, Bruce would actually kick him hard, multiple times. Wall's job was to absorb the impact and make Bruce look unstoppable. That's what friends do in this business. They take the hit. But before that iconic kick could happen, something went horribly wrong during an earlier scene. Something that would spark rumors of murder, threaten their friendship, and set the stage for one of the most powerful strikes ever captured on film. The bottle scene was about to go sideways. The fight choreography called for Bob Wall to break 2 bottles and lunge at Bruce with a jagged glass. Simple enough, in theory. Except Hong Kong studios didn't stock breakaway sugar glass. These were real bottles, real jagged edges, real danger. Bruce's instructions were crystal clear. "Come at me as fast as you can. Aim for my right pec." Wall followed orders. Take after take, he'd smash the bottles and thrust the broken glass toward Bruce's chest. Bruce would deflect with lightning-fast precision, knocking Wall's arm away before the glass could connect. They'd done it 6 times already, perfectly synchronized, a deadly dance needing absolute trust. Then came the 7th take. Wall accelerated his attack, pushing even faster as Bruce demanded. But this time, Bruce's timing was off by a fraction of a second. Instead of deflecting Wall's wrist, Bruce caught his hand too high up the forearm. The broken bottle didn't fly away. It stayed right there as Bruce's fist jammed into the jagged glass. Blood erupted from Bruce's knuckles. The deep gash required 12 stitches. Bruce finished the scene before seeking medical treatment, blood dripping down his hand the entire time. Production shut down for several days while he healed. Wall was devastated. His friend was injured because of a mistimed move. But there was another problem Wall didn't know about yet. Every time he'd broken those bottles and fallen to the ground, he'd landed on real glass shards. The camera never showed it, but Wall's back and knees were cut to pieces. He'd never been allowed to look down and see where the glass landed. He just had to drop and hope for the best. The scene was brutal for both of them. But the worst part was what happened next. Someone started spreading a vicious rumor, and that rumor claimed Bruce Lee wanted Bob Wall dead. The whispers spread through the Hong Kong set like wildfire. Bruce Lee wants revenge. He's going to kill Bob Wall. The rumor grew so intense that producer Freddie Weintraub pulled Wall aside with a warning. "Bob, you better get out of town." Wall's response was pure defiance. "First of all, Bruce and I are good friends. Second, I'm afraid of nobody. Anybody that wants to start killing me better pack their lunch." Even so, there was no avoiding it. Things had to be confronted. Wall drove straight to Bruce's home in Kowloon Tong. He needed to hear it directly from his friend. When Wall asked if Bruce blamed him for the accident, Bruce's answer was immediate and unequivocal. Absolutely not. It was timing. Bruce explained the real problem. Director Robert Klaus, who Bruce called an idiot, had forced them to work with real glass instead of providing proper safety equipment. The accident happened because of poor production choices, not because Wall made a mistake. Bruce had followed his own philosophy, demanding Wall attack at full speed to create authentic-looking action. The injury was simply a consequence of pushing boundaries. They traced the rumor back to Klaus himself. The director apparently wanted to create tension on set, perhaps hoping for some real method acting intensity. Instead, he nearly destroyed a friendship and created a hostile work environment. Bruce addressed the rumor in his own way. He joked publicly that he couldn't kill Bob Wall because Wall was too important to finish the movie. Otherwise, he'd definitely kill him. Everyone laughed and the tension dissolved. But Bruce and Wall had unfinished business. They still needed to film the scene where Bruce sidekicks Wall across the tournament floor. After the bottle incident, after the rumors, after everything, Bruce made one more request to his friend. "Bob, I want to hit you, and I want to hit you hard." Wall's answer would prove costly, not for him, but for someone standing behind him. They agreed on the plan before filming resumed. Bruce would deliver a real sidekick at full power. Wall, being a professional martial artist and a legitimately tough guy, could handle it. The scene required Wall to go flying backwards into a crowd of extras. To make it look convincing, Bruce needed to actually launch him through the air. Wall positioned himself on set, half dazed as his character demanded. Behind him stood several stuntmen and extras, ready to catch his body when Bruce's kick sent him airborne. The camera rolled. Then Bruce went for that sidekick he's famous for. And honestly, it was brutal. Wall described Bruce's power like being hit by a mule. The kick connected with such tremendous force that Wall's entire body became a projectile. He flew backwards, completely airborne, crashing into the waiting extras behind him. One stuntman caught the full brunt of Wall's weight, combined with Bruce's transferred kinetic energy. His arm snapped. Both bones were clean breaks. They captured lightning in a bottle. Bruce Lee's sidekick, delivered at full intensity, was so powerful it didn't just hurt the intended target. It broke the bones of someone who wasn't even being kicked. And this wasn't movie magic or some camera trick. This was pure, brutal martial arts, delivered with zero holding back. The injured stuntman was rushed to the hospital. Wall, despite having just absorbed a kick that could shatter bones by proxy, was relatively fine. His professional training and physical conditioning allowed him to take the hit, but make no mistake about the danger. Bruce could have aimed higher. One kick to Wall's head or throat, and it would be a coroner's report. They filmed the scene 8 times in total. 8 times, Bruce launched Wall through the air. 8 times, Wall took the full force. "He almost killed me," Wall would say later. The question is, why? Why would any sane person subject themselves to this punishment? Bob Wall got something most people miss about fight scenes. Someone's always got to take the hit. You've got to sell the illusion. Bruce Lee could throw a punch at lightning speed, but if the guy on the other end didn't react like it stung, it wouldn't look real at all. You can't fake being kicked by a freight train. That's why Bruce used Wall in 3 of his 5 films. Wall made Bruce look good because Wall was good. A 9th-degree black belt, a professional karate champion, someone who knew how to get slammed and keep performing. When Bruce connected with that devastating sidekick, Wall's body language told the story. His flight through the air, the impact with the extras, everything looked real because it was real. The broken arm behind him just proved the point. This was no choreographed Hollywood dance. This was a real martial artist showing exactly what happens when perfect technique meets raw, unstoppable force. Bruce hit like he meant it because he did mean it. That was his art. That was his philosophy. Fighting without fighting was about avoiding conflict, but when conflict came, you delivered everything you had. Wall never complained about the punishment. Even when Bruce broke his ribs during another scene, Wall showed up the next day ready to work. Even when the glass cut his back and knees, he kept performing. That's what separated the real martial artists from the actors playing dress-up. The irony is that the broken arm incident gave Wall and Bruce an even deeper appreciation for each other. Bruce knew Wall could handle anything you threw at him, literally. Wall knew Bruce would never deliberately hurt him beyond what the scene required. Trust like that is rare in any profession, let alone one involving repeated physical violence. But there's another layer to this story. What does the bottle incident and the broken arm kick really tell us about Bruce Lee? Was he reckless? Dangerous? Or was this something else entirely? But it's not about whether Bruce Lee went too far. Bruce never went too far. He went exactly as far as he needed to create authentic martial arts cinema. The difference is that most people, including most filmmakers, don't understand what authentic martial arts actually requires. Every injury on the Enter the Dragon set happened while pushing boundaries. Bruce cut his hand because he insisted on real attack speed. The stuntman broke his arm because Bruce delivered a real kick at real power. Jackie Chan got smacked in the face because Bruce was moving at real combat speed. These weren't accidents of carelessness. They weren't reckless. They were calculated risks, all for something bigger than just staying safe. Bruce was trying to show the world what martial arts really looked like, not the wire-fu fantasy of Chinese cinema, not the obviously fake stage combat of Western films. Real technique, real speed, real power. To achieve that, he needed partners who could handle reality. Bob Wall was one of those rare partners. The bottle scene, the death rumor, the broken arm kick, all of it shows Bruce's uncompromising dedication to his craft. He'd rather stop production and get stitches than use fake glass and fake action. He'd rather risk his friendship with Wall than settle for pulled punches and safety choreography. That obsessive authenticity is why Enter the Dragon looks better than martial arts films made 50 years later, with unlimited budgets and digital effects. Wall understood this better than anyone. That's why he kept coming back. That's why he turned down a 3-picture deal with Warner Brothers to avoid being away from his family, but still made cameo appearances in 14 Chuck Norris films. The work mattered, the authenticity mattered, and Bruce Lee mattered. On July 20th, 1973, just weeks before Enter the Dragon premiered, Bruce Lee died at age 32. He never got to see his masterpiece conquer the world. But Bob Wall made sure we'd never forget what the dragon could do. What's the craziest behind-the-scenes story you've heard from a martial arts film? Drop your thoughts below. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.